Good morning, everyone. Shavua Tov, Agitavach. We hope everyone is well and had an enjoyable Shabbat. So, good morning, Estelle. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, all those that are still joining us today. So, we said yesterday at the end of the Kriyat Torah, the end of Laning, we said Chazak, Chazak, Venit Chazek. We concluded and closed the book of Bereshit. And as we concluded, we begin with the book of Shemos. And the book of Shemos is very different to the book of Bereshit. It's the story of our nation. And we start off, of course, being told about the 12 tribes. Ve'ele Shemos b'nei Yisrael habayim Mitzrayim. These are the names, the illustrious names of our forefathers, those that came to Egypt. And then, of course, from the highs of being held in such high regard in Egypt, then, of course, Shemos is the beginning of the exile of our nation, of our people. 210 years we were slaves in Egypt and slave to Pharaoh. And I'm reminded of an idea that Rabbi Isaac Bernstein, Zichrono Livracha, that he said many, many moons ago, and it relates to the dream of Jacob. And it really, we know that Maisa Ava Simon Labonim, friends, whatever happened to our forefathers is really a forerunner to whatever is going to happen to us. The experiences, history repeats itself time and again. And if we don't learn the lessons, then we are only doomed and destined to repeat the mistakes. So let's perhaps have a look at one aspect. So Rabbi Bernstein pointed out that when it came to the dream, that epic dream of Jacob, Jacob lay down on the ground and he had a vision, a dream of a ladder going up from the earth to the heavens, and there were celestial beings, angels that were going up and down. And this, of course, was a dream that was a prophecy, in fact, of the future exiles of the Jewish people. And he sees these four angels that represent the four exiles that we would endure. We had the Greek, the Roman, the Persian, the Babylonian, and he sees them going up, and he sees the Roman one, which seems to keep going up. The others are going up and coming down, which of course symbolizes the fact that every exile has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But the Roman exile, he's concerned that it seems to go on. As we all know, it goes on and seems to go on forever. And Jacob, of course, concludes the dream, and he gets up and he goes on his way. Now, it's interesting that the dream, the symbolism of the exile, is one of a ladder going from earth to heavens, from heavens to earth. What is the idea of a ladder? What's the symbolism? Said Rav Bernstein, so often in our history, in Jewish history, we have arrived in a new country with hopes and aspirations for achieving lasting success, accomplishment, for putting down our roots and our bags. And that's exactly what happens. We have found ourselves in many, many different countries across the course of the millennia. And in each time, we've contributed, we've established ourselves. We started off in the East End, and of course we, gradually we literally climbed the rungs of the ladder, achieving prosperity, success, accomplishment, and gradually made our rungs up the ladder of prosperity. But always we were reliant on others. We were reliant on the grace of the country in which we found ourselves. And sooner or later, said Rob Bernstein, as we go up that ladder, when those around us see the successes of Jewish people, sooner or later, those that are the residents of the place, they become jealous with the success, jealous with the prosperity, the accomplishments of the Jewish people. And then they start to shake that ladder. In other words, you're only as strong on that ladder as those that are supporting the ladder, those that are holding the ladder from the bottom. And when we make a meteoric rise up that ladder, very often there are others that have not had the same successes as us and become exceptionally jealous, and therefore they decide sooner or later to pull the rug from under our feet, and we come crashing down off that ladder of, be it Poland, Russia, Germany, or God forbid, in other countries that we are in. And therefore, we should always, as Rob Bernstein, recognize, like in Jacob's dream, the fact that we are for a limited time in a certain country by the grace and kindness of that country, and things can change in a quite alarming way at an exceptional pace, and therefore we shouldn't become too settled. We shouldn't become too established. We should recognize that wherever we are, we're always just passing through. And in fact, the Chofetz Chaim, that great sage of yesteryear, he would keep a packed bag by the front door of his very humble abode. And why did he do so? Why did he do so? The answer is because he wanted to remind himself that I'm only here temporarily in this country. I'm only in Radin temporarily. Ultimately, Moshiach is coming. There's going to be who's going to herald the end of the exile and redemption. And therefore, I live my life with such a mindset. And when one has such a mindset that everything is temporary, we're transitioning through this world, right? And therefore, whatever country we are in, it's not permanent, right? It's just a means to an end. We don't get so caught up in the minutiae. We don't get so upset about whether everything in our homes and everything in our lives is picture perfect. Because if one recognizes that actually I'm in exile, actually, I'm going through something, and I'm not actually, this is not my permanent abode, then you don't get so caught up in things. And I think if we have that mindset, friends, it's difficult, it's challenging, but if we have that mindset, is it so important? Do we get so worked up about mess and scratches on cars and on the paintwork of our homes? And I know it's difficult, but it is so important to keep perspective about things that are important in this world. And God forbid a person has a terminal illness or something serious going on in their family. The things that were so important, they were so worried about, making sure that there was no stains on the carpet or everything was picture perfect. All of a sudden, it becomes a complete irrelevance overnight when you get that terrible news. So therefore, we should recognize that we are here on a journey. We're here to accomplish, to achieve. And if things don't go smoothly, or if there are little cracks or stains on the carpet, it's not the end of the world. Keep perspective. Of course, we want to make the most of the opportunities. And of course, we have a tremendous debt of gratitude to whichever country we are getting. But we are just that. We are guests. We shouldn't take it for granted, and therefore we constantly are giving appreciation and thanks to the country that we are living in, but we also are able to keep the right perspective. Wishing everyone well. Please God, we'll be back by our desks. In case you were guessing where I am, anyone guess it? Brampton Grove. Okay, that's where I made it to today on the way back. Take care. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you at my computer tomorrow.